Guys, I'm really happy to welcome back to the podcast our friend James O'Keefe, CEO of the O'Keefe Media Group. You can follow him on Twitter at James O'Keefe III, 123, and then website o'keefemediagroup.com. James, welcome back. Great to have you on. It's been, a tumultuous few months for you setting up an independent operation. I just want to start by asking you, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing absolutely great. I feel untethered, invigorated, independent, uncontrolled. And we've gone from exposing some very powerful people, Dinesh, to now exposing probably the most powerful people. So it can be sometimes terrifying. And there's ups and downs in this journey. But overall, I'm doing well.
Well, I do want to congratulate you, James, because number one, it's heartbreaking to see an organization you built somehow be sort of pulled out from under you, and then to set up independently a new group and hit the ground running in the way that you have is really impressive to see. Let's talk about this latest story that you just broke, a very important story. Tell us about it. Who is exposed and what does he say on camera? I'm just saying this, I've actually watched it. I'm just saying it for the benefit of people who don't know what the news story is.
Well, this is a Blackrock. Blackrock is a major financial institution and asset manager. They own, have stakes in many large corporations that people may not know this, but Vanguard, State Street, and Blackrock are incredibly powerful. I first learned of this company, Blackrock, after I did a story on Pfizer, and after Fox removed Tucker Carlson, I noticed that there was a large ownership stake, equity stake in Pfizer and Fox, and BlackRock was near the top of that. So we set our sights on BlackRock, and our undercover journalist met with a recruiter who was a self-described gatekeeper who hired all the talent at BlackRock. And while he didn't technically work in finance, he hired a lot of the financial people. So we thought that was a good area to start. And it is like many of the exposés I've done, Dinesh, over the last 15 years. It is just, it watches like a Saturday Night Live sketch of what you would think a sleazy Wall Street sort of person. He talks about, how we buy off senators. Senators are effing cheap. He's sort of got this ghoulish, dark, evil way about him. He talks about how sleazy it is, and how they run the world and how they control people's fate. So it's really interesting. We had a few meetings in New York City. I actually caught up with this guy just on yesterday, confronted him, and he ran into a police station to try to turn himself in or try to turn me in. It's unclear. The video is wild. And I also reached out to BlackRock for comment on some of these statements. Their managing director of corporate communications was talking to me, but eventually declined an official comment, Dinesh.
Now, what I got out of this interview, this undercover interview, and I think these undercover interviews are fascinating because it's almost like, normally when you meet someone, they say certain things to you in public, and that's their public performance, if you will. But you don't have access to what they're thinking, to what their real beliefs are, because they don't put them out there. And this is especially true of people who are managed by media managers and politicians and so on. But what you do is you get these guys unguarded. And so as a result, they spill the beans. They say what they're really thinking, and it's really valuable to hear it. And what I got from this interview was that basically this guy was saying that we are sort of a fake democracy, right? Because he didn't say it this way, but what he's saying is that our politicians are up for sale. He goes, companies like BlackRock can buy them for like $10,000. And so this, under normal circumstances, this kind of thing would be a scandal and would be something that would require careful scrutiny. What does it really say about our society that you got these money people who think this way? Yes. Are you finding that the media is trying to just go silent on this kind of topic? What do they do with your exposés? It seems like they try to bury them through ignoring them.
Yeah, I think it's like the reverse Gandhi, right? So Gandhi once, right? First you ignore you, then you laugh at you, then you attack. Now it's like first they attack me, then they laugh at me, then they try to ignore me. That's what I found in my life generally. But I think these sorts of topics like BlackRock and Vanguard, these are the most powerful people in the world. The first thing I was told by my advisors and people close to me is these are the sorts of people that you should be scared of them. It's terrifying. They have a lot of power. Most people don't look into these companies, Dinesh, because they're owned by these companies. I had the same sort of phenomenon with Pfizer. Pfizer controls the vast majority of advertising revenue for most cable news outlets. So it's not so much that they don't think it's journalistically interesting. They just are not allowed to investigate that which feeds them. I think it was Upton Sinclair who once said something like that you cannot, it's amazing what a man won't understand when his salary depends upon him not understanding it. So that's what this is about. I don't think it's about left or right here. In fact, I mean, there's nothing political about this. A sleazy Wall Street recruiter talking about how he runs the world, buys politicians, and these sorts of statements. And then credit to the undercover journalist who obtained it. One of the best. Also, the same person that recorded Charlie Chester at CNN some years ago. And she joined OMG. She followed me on my journey. So it's really an eye-opening expose. I think it'll inspire other people to do likewise. It's only part one of a series. And again, like I said, you'll be seeing the video of me sitting down with Serge Varlay this evening.
Let's take a pause. When we come back, more with James O'Keefe.